Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Today, the SCIO is holding the fourth of the serial departmental press conferences. We are honored to have with us Minister of Science and Technology Wang Zhigang to brief us on the implementation of the innovation-driven development strategy and building an innovation-driven country. Today, we also have the honor of having with us Vice Minister Wu Zhaohui, Vice Minister Zhang Guangjun, Director General Xie Ming of Policy Regulation and Innovation System, Director General Chen Jiachang of High and New Technology. First, Mr. Wang Zhigang, please have the floor. Ladies and gentlemen, friends from the media, good morning. I would like to express our appreciation for a long-time interest in and support for China's S&T innovation. Without your understanding, support, and help, S&T innovation would not have proceeded to where it is today in China. For that, we are very grateful. It is also my pleasure to meet with you before the two sessions for this year to brief you on S&T innovation and how we are implementing the spirit of the 20th Party Congress, as well as measures to implement the innovation-driven development strategy. Since the 18th Party Congress, the CPC Central Committee, with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, has put S&T innovation front and center in China's national development. Historic achievements and reform has been made in this cause. From a follower and participant in innovation, we have become a frontrunner, and we have also registered systemic transformation in our capacity. The past decade has been a leapfrog development era and witnessed the fastest improvement in the country's innovation capacity. It is also the decade during which China has played a major role. China's ranking for GII 2022 has risen to 11th, and we have joined the ranks of the world's innovators. We have entered a new phase of implementing an innovation-driven development strategy. Innovation-driven development is very important to the country's modernization drive. And the 20th Party Congress has devoted a chapter of the report to S&T development for the first time in history. This is a strategic decision made by the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core in light of the past, present, and future of our development. China's S&T community continues to study and implement the 20th Party Congress spirit and has made unremitting efforts and took challenges head-on. With coordinated efforts from the entire industry and all areas, we were able to pull strength for innovation nationwide. S&T innovation has become an important driver for increasing productivity. Its role is unprecedented. S&T empowerment has become a signature of high-quality development as well as an important driver for our development. Our S&T capacity has improved, and that gives us greater heft on global innovation. Nationwide R&D spending rose from 1 trillion to 3.09 trillion yuan from 2012 to 2022. R&D intensity rose from 1.91% to 2.55%. Input into basic research rose from 49.9 billion yuan to 195.1 billion yuan from 2012 to 2022. with its share in nationwide R&D spending rising from 4.8% to 6.5%. S&T personnel rose from 3.25 million person years to 6 million person years from 2012 to 2022, topping the world for many years. Important papers, as well as highly cited papers, account for a large percent of the global total. We're not only an important participant in innovation in frontier areas, but also helps resolve global issues. S&T continues to empower all sectors and drive high-quality development as an important source. We value both our targets as well as free exploration. We were able to achieve a number of original outcomes in basic research areas, including quantum communication and brain science. We have worked on both our strengths and weaknesses. High-performance equipment and smart robotics, as well as other key technologies in key areas, witnessed breakthroughs. We also made active plans on new tracks of competition, including AI, big data, blockchain technology, 5G, and other emerging technologies, as well as their application scenarios. We focused on seas and arable land as two key issues to ensure food security. With a view to ensuring people's health and well-being, S&T continue to provide accurate and comprehensive support to disease treatment, public health, and aging. S&T innovation is deeply embedded into our society, economy, and every aspect of people's life. That gives us stronger and more lasting drivers for development. That opens us broad vistas and gives people new expectations for the future. We have doubled down on reforms that gives us greater efficiency in the innovation system of the country. We have continued to proceed with the 3-year reform drive on S&T system with breakthroughs in key areas. We're moving to continue the national strategic S&T capacity building drive with the national lab structure with a Chinese characteristic formed. Tech firms have risen to almost 400,000 in 2022, contributing 68% of R&D spending nationwide. 762 businesses have made it into the global top 2,500 businesses in terms of R&D spending. We coordinated the building of an international and a regional S&T Innovation Center. A new round of pilot program for Zhongguancun has unfolded. 23 self-dependent innovation and demonstration areas and 177 high-tech parks have become front-runners for the country's high-quality development. Our passion to promote and participate in innovation is unprecedented. We're expanding open cooperation and moving actively to foster an ecosystem conducive to international S&T exchange and cooperation. Openness and cooperation is an inherent requirement of S&T development, as well as one for rising to common challenges. We have a vision for open, inclusive, and mutually beneficial S&T cooperation with other countries. We have established cooperation relations with 161 countries and regions and participated in 200 international organizations and multilateral institutions. We have collab researches on climate change and clean energy. The Belt and Road S&T Cooperation Action Plan yielded fruitful results, including 53 joint labs. We have led the implementation of international big science plans and projects, participated in ITER, SKA, and other international projects. We have worked to establish platform for international exchange and cooperation on S&T in key areas, provide a platform for talent seeking jobs in China so that China can become a fertile land for global innovation and entrepreneurship. In 2022, with the joint efforts of the whole S&T community, we were able to score one success after another. Tianhe, Wentian, and Mengtian modules have been sent into space as part of the China space station in orbit. Kwafu probe, Qinghai Tibet excursion, nanosat, quantum communication, and proton therapy emerged as key breakthroughs. Our R&D intensity reached 2.5% for the first time in history. A host of breakthroughs were achieved in bottleneck areas. S&T deliverables also served to ensure successful organization and participation of Beijing Winter Olympics. Research breakthroughs have also made key contributions to the country's COVID control efforts. 2023 is the first year to implement the spirit of the 20th CPC National Congress. At such a time, it's important to break new ground and for us to become pioneers in S&T. We will become engines of growth following a new vision for development and play a key role in China's modernization drive. Moving forward, we will fully and faithfully implement the spirit of the 20th Party Congress, as well as the decisions and plans of the CPC Central Committee. We will set our sight in 4 important strategic areas and take stock of the state-of-the-art and evolving trends to seize opportunities afforded by the S&T revolution and industrial transformation. We will move to level up homegrown technologies and proceed from the features of the new stage of S&T development to ensure the country's development and strategic security. We're convinced that with the strong leadership of the CPC Central Committee with Comrade Xi Jinping at its core, we will be able to break new ground and scale new heights. We will work earnestly to implement the strategic decisions of the 20th Party Congress, step up self-reliance and strength in S&T, and get our modernization drive to build China into a modern socialist country in all respects off to a good start and continue to make important contributions. Now, my colleagues and I are ready to take your questions. Thank you. Thank you, Minister Wang. Now the floor is open for questions. Please identify yourself before asking the question. Thank you. The 20th Party Congress identified that education, science, technology, and human resources are the fundamental and strategic pillars of building a modern socialist country in all respects. How will most work to implement that? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. The report has indeed devoted a specific section to education, science and technology, and talents. It means that the CPC Central Committee has new thinking on deepening how to achieve 1 + 1 + 1 is more than 3, which means that we can amplify the role of each and single one of them. If it weren't without strength in education, technology, and professionals, there wouldn't be a strong, modern country. This is our understanding on building a strong, modern, socialist country, and it reflects the need to advance the strength in education, technology, and talents. Overall, these three elements are of decisive importance and far-reaching importance on national development. It determines the future. In the past, education, science and technology, and talents had played important roles in our endeavor to build a moderately prosperous society in all respects. The reason why these three elements were identified in the 20th National Congress report is for us to accentuate the importance of education, science and technology, and talents. Education is the basic, technology is the key, and talents are of foundational importance. All these three elements are mutually reinforcing. The way we will promote innovation-driven development is through greater development in education, science and technology, and professionals. Our ultimate goal is to build a strong, modernized country. Throughout this process, we in the Ministry of Science and Technology will work with all relevant sites to advance coordinated development of these three strategies, three goals, and three elements, so that we can pool resources, make relevant policies, and make every effort to build Chinese modernization. And we'll also test the outcomes of coordinated development of these three strategies in the progress we've made in Chinese modernization. We need better top-level design. When making plans for technology development, we must focus on education and on cultivation of talents. But the overall goal, as I said just now, is to advance modernization. Second, we also need greater coordination in science and technology as well as education. Sometimes we in the Ministry of Science and Technology will be playing a leading role. In other scenarios, we'll be playing a more supportive role. The key is to cultivate a greater number of technology professionals, those that are of high standard and high caliber. They will adapt to the needs to build a strong country in technology, so that we can explore a new path with Chinese characteristics that will drive technology development and industry with education and science and technology. Thank you. From Science and Technology Daily, my question is on basic research. Basic research is of great concern of all. We have made a lot of plans in this aspect. You also mentioned that we will be walking on two legs. What progress has been made in advancing basic research, and how can we make further improvement? Thank you.
Thank you very much for your question. It is a good as well as important question. As I said at the top, China sets great store by basic research. Since the 18th Party Congress, it has come to greater importance. General Secretary said that basic research is the wellspring of the entire science system. and holds the key to all technological issues. We have always valued basic research, and now new breakthroughs have been made, in particular since the 18th Party Congress, in particular in science, technology, application. I think a feature of basic research is that as we proceed, we find that we actually know less rather than more. Just as when we read, we know that we're not as knowledgeable as we find ourselves to be. I think that is a basic attitude for basic research. So at this stage, basic research is very important, and there should be more participation and more input into basic research. The CPC Central Committee and the State Council sets great store by basic research, and General Secretary Xi Jinping has made personal decisions and instructions on that. On the 21st of this month, the Political Bureau actually had a collective learning session on basic research. General Secretary Xi Jinping said that improving a holistic approach to basic research is actually an inevitable pathway to modernization. We need to adopt a holistic approach and policy support to promote high-quality development of basic research. That is just part of what he said at the meeting. His full speech was covered by the media and by CCTV. Most works earnestly to implement the important instructions of General Secretary Xi Jinping and the decisions of the CPC Central Committee. We have done quite some planning to encourage input by the industry, firms, society, subnational governments in a more pluralistic way. R&D input into basic research rose from 4.99 billion yuan to 150 billion yuan from 2012 to 2022. As our input into all areas of research and development grew, this is actually an area with a rather high growth rate. Breakthroughs have been witnessed in our basic research, including FAST, which is the largest one of its kind, as well as a host of other big-ticket items. And other important equipments to the country, including spallation, neutron source, and other devices were built. We also planned a number of key projects, including in quantum communication and stem cells. Quantum computer, prototype, communication, and measurement are all areas where we are top-notch. We're actually leading research efforts into quantum computing. And also regarding stem cells research, we note that stem cells could become livers or hair or parts of our body. But after we were given birth to, it would be hard for a single cell to become rather complicated parts of our body. And we're looking into how that works. And once we have more findings, it will give us more time. And also, this will bear on our national security and lasting development, as well as the health of the people. So there are many benefits to that. Quantum computing prototypes, synthetic starch, and other internationally influential original deliverables have been generated. The impact of carbon dioxide on climate change has been an issue, but if we are able to turn that with some of our technologies into starch and apply that to other industries and areas, then we will be turning something that is of difficulty to us into something of value to us. Global efforts have been made to tackle this prickly issue, including an initiative by the United Nations and what people discussed at COP26 in Egypt. So at a nanometer level, our catalysts are able to work with greater efficiency. During our work, we have seen that there are some areas where headway is slow in basic research. To begin with, we must find a question in basic research. This question has to be substantial and has to be a real question. That is actually very difficult. What matters most is not the answer, but rather the question. If we cannot get the question accurate enough, then we might not be able to find our bearings, and our work would not be as effective as they should be. So we can actually distill questions for basic research from some difficulties that we encounter in our economic and social development. Or we can also proceed from our curiosity and our will to explore. We have to value both orientations. And it's important that we try to distill questions from some of our shortcomings and some bottlenecks. How can we identify the source and identify its basic workings to specific issues that we face? To make that happen, we have to work on basic research. We also need to work on team building for basic research. Quality matters more than quantity. Good methodologies and paradigms will lead us to ultimately resolve the question and come up with answers. We need to be able to describe these methodologies and paradigms. To make that happen, it takes a lot of work. So on COVID-19, we now have some logical reasoning. We need to turn that into scientific and mathematical reasoning. That will be a step up for the country. And that entails high-caliber teams and high-caliber professionals. Scientists not only need a sense of responsibility for their country, but the capacity to ask questions, to form descriptions, to adopt their own views. They have to have their own insights into these issues. And it's important that these new findings, equations, and descriptions be still remembered as being made by these people. The reason why we remember a lot of scientists like Newton, Einstein, and others is because they have made new breakthroughs that are of fundamental importance. Basic research is about proceeding from nothing to something, to make the unknown known. Moving forward, we will follow the important instructions by General Secretary Xi Jinping on basic research and innovation and by his remarks made at the Collective Political Bureau study session. We will continue to combine our targets with free exploration as well as question-oriented exploration. We hope that we will set the stage for everyone to give full play to their imagination and technological savvy, as well as their know-how and knowledge on philosophy, history, and culture. First, we will need to be more forward-leaning in our research efforts. Who can grasp the trend of tomorrow will get an upper hand. We need to be able to raise the question and then get consensus on the question. That is, working from scratch. And second, we need to stay more oriented towards our strategies. We have important strategies and targets raised, and that entails support of science and technology as a key link. That is why we place it at the heart of the country's work. At the 20th Party Congress, a number of ideas were raised on how to build our country into a strong nation in different areas. A necessary prerequisite is support in human resources and science technology. We need to connect the dots by our S&T efforts. Third, we need to stay market-oriented. We need to identify the questions in the industries and then identify the answer from the source. I think it's a well-established logic for us to try to identify the questions as in applied scenarios and then try to work out the answer and how everything works. We need to identify where are some areas where science and technology will play a more infiltrative role and where it will play a more disruptive role. We hope that the younger generation of scientists and professionals will find the stage for them to give full play to their potentials. And that needs them to be able to play lead roles and make key contributions in important events and projects. And lastly, basic research is actually an exploration and excursion into the no man's land. A lot of the times, we don't know where we are going. Then how do we proceed? The first thing to do is actually to stop where we are, take some time to think and reflect, to work out our bearings and directions. That takes a lot of accumulation in science and technology, as well as audacity to create. After we're done with our contemplation, we will move forward. And sometimes we run into failure, and that is totally normal. Failure gives rise to more scientific findings than success. In traditional Chinese wisdom, we believe it's more important to take solid steps than smart steps. I think solid steps are about outcompeting ourselves. And as time goes on, smart will grow out of solid. A lot of people have sat under the apple tree, but only Newton identified gravity. And only Archimedes discovered an equation on buoyancy. I hope that everyone will keep a keen interest in science and technology. And we hope that we will cultivate in the younger generation an interest in science and technology and an ability to apply them. We hope that they will take pride in science and technology and be able to really make full use of them. Thank you. A question was asked about where we're going. Innovation of businesses bear on their long-term development. The 20th Party Congress stressed the importance of the principal role of businesses in innovation. How will most implement that? And will you roll out some policies for tech firms? Thank you for your question. That is a very important question. I will ask my colleague, Vice Minister Wu, to answer that. The 20th Party Congress has specific plans on strengthening the principal role of businesses in innovation. A shift is being stressed on businesses turning from tech innovation principle to science and technology innovation principal roles. That shows that they are of unprecedented importance in our innovation system, and also that they will play an important role throughout all links of our innovation. Businesses can continue to play a principal role in deliverables conversion, incubation, and application, and take up a bigger role in basic research. The principal role of businesses in innovation is a necessary requirement to implement the strategy of innovation-driven development. From the perspective of these firms, they are the basic units of our economy. They're in closest touch with the market and the final outcomes, and they're very sensitive to the trends. And they're the ones who usually come up with the need for science and technology breakthroughs, and the ones to realize the market value of the deliverables. They're a vital force in innovation. And from how science and technology support high-quality development, businesses are actually an intersection of the innovation and supply chains, and they need to give full play to that role as an important intersection. And to bring together these two chains. That requires more input by businesses into applied sciences and research in frontier areas. To bring together basic research and industrial innovation, that takes a strong sense of responsibility of these businesses. Whether businesses can become the principal innovators for the future depends on whether they have the ability to bring along more universities and institutes to complete these tasks and to carry out more high-quality researches in a results-oriented way. It also hinges on whether our incentive mechanisms can bring together more high-caliber professionals to realize the market value of these scientific and technological findings. What also matters is whether we can carry out international innovation cooperation, whether we can realize win-win cooperation on open innovation. So that all comes down to the innovation capacity of businesses, which is to be tested by the market. Without innovation, there's no development and there's no way out. Most has been making continuous efforts on policy factors and projects to support the innovation capacity of businesses. More specifically, on decision-making of innovation, on input into research, the organization of S&T researches, and conversion of deliverables. And I would like to sum that up into 4 points. First, improving the principal role of businesses in innovation decision-making. We support businesses in participating more broadly and more in depth in innovation decision-making of the country. We have absorbed more professionals from the businesses into our national S&T expert repository. We have established a mechanism for seminars among professionals from businesses on science and technology, and have led these businesses to carry out innovation with a focus on the country's priorities. Second, we have improved the principal role of businesses in R&D spending. In 2023, businesses contribute to 3/4 of nationwide R&D spending. We will make sure that businesses are well supported to step up their R&D spending, including with the weighted deduction of R&D spending policies. We will work to help businesses lead, take part in, and engage in innovation. Efforts are made to set up a mechanism for financial support of businesses' S&T innovation. That will help businesses get a stronger sense of gain as they marketize their deliverables. Third, we will enhance the principal role of businesses in S&T organization. We learned from statistics that businesses lead or participate in close to 80% of key national R&D plans. We hope that they will be more engaged. They will come up with more demand to give full play to their role as the one asking, answering, and assessing the questions. And fourth, enhancing the principal role of businesses in converting deliverables. In 2022, tech contract value totals 4.78 billion yuan. Businesses absorb 82.8% of technologies. That is a very good signal. More specifically, we will improve our policy for such absorption of deliverables and conversion of such deliverables. And at the same time, we will work for closer interaction between the market and these businesses. I would like to stress before I conclude that innovation isn't judged by who produced it. State-owned or private, large or small businesses should have equal rights, opportunities, and rules as they innovate. Most sets great store by innovation, and we hope that we will create an enabling atmosphere for innovation so that businesses can make more contributions and improve their capability for innovation. Besides the principal role of businesses, we also need to encourage universities and institutes to do that. In our country, we run a market economy.
These enterprises, as important entities, will need to strengthen their own capability to innovate. They also have important opportunities as the country shifts toward innovation-driven development. It means opportunities for these companies. This year, we will be working with relevant departments and localities and with relevant companies. In my opening remarks, high-tech firms, we have 450,000 high-tech firms, and we have over 500,000 high-tech SMEs. These 400,000 high-tech firms account for 68% of the country's total R&D expenditure. They are of critical importance for our homegrown innovation. We need to further expand the scale and elevate the standard of their innovation. Thank you. From Reuters, we see recently that ChatGPT has triggered a widespread discussion in China. How do you see this AI-driven development? What are your considerations with regard to regulation? This is indeed the issue that has drawn widespread discussion. I will give the floor to our DG to give you an answer. Artificial intelligence, as an emerging technology of strategic importance, have become an important driving force for technological innovation, industrial upgrade, and increase in productivity. It is based on natural language processing. This is an important direction for human-machine interface. ChatGPT is indeed a phenomenal mobile app. It demonstrates a high level of natural language interaction. It shows that this natural language model has picked up some attributes of artificial intelligence and could be applied in a wide range of areas. From the perspective of the overall trend of artificial intelligence, we see two characteristics. First, artificial intelligence is highly pervasive and has fundamental impact on socioeconomic development. In technological research, artificial intelligence is providing new solutions in biology, energy, and new materials. It is leading transformation in the paradigm of science and technology research. Second, in internet, big data, supercomputing, smart computing, brain and cognitive technologies, artificial intelligence is being developed more rapidly. We are seeing a breakthrough in the entire community. Smart plus paradigm has been used to energize industries such as manufacturing, transportation, and medical services. Some factories are called lights out factory, where artificial intelligence is playing an important role in manufacturing. In diagnostics, AI diagnostics cover over 3,000 common diseases. That is why I said just now, artificial intelligence is widely used in many areas. The Chinese government attaches great importance to the development of artificial intelligence. We have introduced the new generation AI development plan. Our ministry has set up an office to plan and promote the development of artificial intelligence, an advisory committee, and an ethics committee. We have also introduced the ethics and norms of artificial intelligence and launched major programs in artificial intelligence. We have established the basic structure where we will base on hard and software basic theories and commercialization. We will be working with leading enterprises and offer spillover benefits to the entire industry and to other small and medium enterprises. We have established 18 pilot zones on innovation, encouraging relevant localities to introduce scenarios of their own characteristics. Relevant, important concepts were introduced by scholars. Brain chips were developed. We also established a training mechanism and an important model based on artificial intelligence. These are among the best in the world. This is the basic layout we have in technological development across the country. Going forward, our ministry will take artificial intelligence as an emerging industry of strategic importance, an important driving force for economic development. First, we will build an open and coordinated AI system, accelerate breakthroughs and theoretical studies in key technologies. Second, we will further integrate artificial intelligence into economic development, enhance these technologies in important scenarios, and foster a market. Third, we will promote a more safe and controllable and manageable governance system on artificial intelligence. And fourth, we will advance openness and cooperation in artificial intelligence. Let me add on what our Director General just said. ChatGPT is indeed highly popular. How should we assess ChatGPT and how to continue develop artificial intelligence? We also need to see that tech outcomes is like two sides of the same coin. This is based on massive computing capacity, strong mathematical models. It is based on natural language processing, such as NRT and NRU. We see that ChatGPT has its own advantages. OpenAI, the company that developed ChatGPT, has its unique strengths. Some say that in football, we see dribbling and shooting, but it's hard for everyone to mimic Lionel Messi. ChatGPT boasts its unique strength in this regard. On algorithm, data, computing capacity, we need to make further improvements. In China, with regard to new technologies, including AI, there will be relevant measures for regulations and ethics. But there will be a span of time lag between the introduction of these regulations and the emergence of such technology. We need to suppress the downsides of this technology and amplify the advantages of it. Thank you. From China Daily. The 20th National Congress stressed the importance of international cooperation and exchanges on technology and fostering an environment conducive to R&D. What is your future plans?
I will give the floor to Vice Minister Zhang. Science and technology have features of both the time and for the world. China has always taken the lead in open S&T cooperation. As the minister said at the outset, China is both a participant in research in frontier areas and a contributor to resolving issues facing all humanity. I think my answer will consist of three parts. First, new headway has been achieved and will continue to be achieved in win-win bilateral and multilateral intergovernmental cooperation. We have S&T partnerships with 160 plus countries and regions and signed intergovernmental S&T cooperation agreements with 116 parties. We have built a new paradigm of comprehensive, multi-tiered and wide-ranging S&T cooperation. In 2022, S&T cooperation contributed hugely to head of state diplomacy and major diplomatic events and registered multiple outcomes. We have signed 25 intergovernmental and multilateral agreements on the role of SNT in COVID response, climate change, biodiversity, and clean energy, as well as other areas, we have carried out effective cooperation with several countries on SNT and poverty reduction, innovation, entrepreneurship, and deliverable conversion. Benefits have been delivered to many countries and peoples, and leapfrog development is registered for BRI SNT innovation cooperation. And second, we have taken active part in global innovation governance with a focus on making China's contributions to addressing joint challenges. We took the initiative to set the agenda for global innovation. We have implemented the Science-Based COVID Response International Cooperation Action, promoted the BRICS Vaccine R&D Centers building, and led the Green Power Future Mission and drew up Carbon Neutrality International Science and Technology Innovation Cooperation Plan. International big science projects and plans witnessed remarkable outcomes, including ITER and SCA. China's contributions, voice, and leadership in these important international SNT organizations have improved significantly. Third, we have further opened up to the world in terms of science and technology and fostered a good environment and ecosystem for open innovation. We explored the setting up of a scientific research fund facing the whole world to support researchers with foreign nationalities to participate in major domestic research plans. With a focus on the work of life of foreigners in China, we have rolled out more open and effective policies. We have worked to encourage and support institutes, higher institutions, businesses, as well as subnational governments, as well as individual researchers to engage in more active foreign exchanges and cooperation. And we have worked to foster greater connectivity among the people, infrastructure between businesses, and our visions. The report to the 20th Party Congress sets the course for SNT innovation cooperation in a new era. Moving forward, we will be guided by such instructions to integrate actively into the global innovation network, expand intergovernmental cooperation, deepen people-to-people exchanges, and expand the breadth and depth of international SNT cooperation. We will roll out a number of reform documents in key areas for reforms. Moving forward, China's door will open wider and wider to international cooperation on science and technology, and we will make China's contributions and wisdom for the building of a better home for all humanity, and truly live up to our responsibility of building a community with a shared future for mankind through SNT innovation. Thank you, Restart News. The source of innovation is talent. What are some new progress in talent cultivation? What are some work of most on burden relieving, and how is it incentivizing younger generations of researchers? Thank you. I would like to give the floor to DG Xie. Innovation-driven development comes down to talent and professionals. They are the starting point, and the people are the players in making innovations. Since the 18th Party Congress, China has been improving its assessment reforms and as well as its incentive mechanisms to unleash the full potentials of our talents, focusing on the needs and expectations of the S&T professionals and working to foster an enabling ecosystem that is innovation friendly. We have made quite some remarkable progress. First, greater quality and quantity of our talent pool. In 2022, the number of researchers in China is expected to be more than 6 million person-years, topping the world for many years. And the structure of the team continues to improve. They are playing a bigger role with greater ability to support high-quality development. Second, our system and mechanism for incentivization is improving. Most worked with ministries of education and finance, as well as other departments and ministries, to relieve researchers of their burdens and address their concerns. A number of solid measures were rolled out. Their integrity, performance, and actual deliverables were all part of the criteria for their assessment. We also rolled out more than a dozen specific measures to reduce paperwork and streamline institutions. To incentivize the younger generation, we were working to give them more opportunities and time to take up the lead roles in the country's plans. People aged under 45 account for more than 80% of our entire talent pool. Third, we're working faster to internationalize our team. We hope to make China a fertile ground for talents to develop in China. We have rolled out policies to facilitate the life and work of foreign nationals in China. We run joint researches with over 50 countries and regions to build a new high ground for science and technology innovation with a huge talent pool of top-notch talent. Moving forward, we will work to implement the talent-driven development orientation in a new era. We will work to coordinate both our targets for the country and cultivate talent from home and abroad. We will work to foster an enabling atmosphere and environment for innovation and entrepreneurship and build a large, well-structured and high-caliber team for science and technology innovation to provide human resources support for our technological self-reliance and development. Thank you.
Bohemia.
We noted a huge rise in the number of S&T centers. Could you please tell us some examples? What are some measures moving forward, and how will we give full play to the role of such parks and centers?
Building a high and new technology zone and homegrown innovation zone is an important plan made by the CPC Central Committee and the State Council in reform and opening up and the modernization drive. The homegrown innovation zone, the idea of this zone was introduced back in 2009. Since the 18th Party Congress, we have had 177 high and new technology zones and 23 homegrown innovation zones. They have played an important role in setting the example and offering spillover benefits to their industries. They have explored a path of Chinese characteristics on advancing the development of high and new technologies. They have become the pace setter and trailblazers for high quality development. In 2022, these high and new technology zones have sustained a momentum of rapid development, accounting for 13.6% of GDP. They are also the pace setter in terms of energy intensity. The energy consumption per 10,000 yuan added value was around 2/3 of the national average, contributing to stable growth. Throughout these 10 years of development, the achievements of these two types of zones have a number of attributes. The outstanding achievements can be summarized in the following 3 points. First, high-level innovation resources were concentrated. R&D expenditure in high and new technology zones account for nearly half of the national total. The valid patents held by these companies account for around 50% of the national total. And they also account for around 50% of high-tech platforms. Second, high-growth companies keep emerging. In these zones, these zones have attracted over 1/3 of tech-focused SMEs and high-tech firms, and as well as 2/3 of listed companies. For instance, in Beijing, Zhongguancun, ICT industry account for 17% of the country. The 36 high and new technology zones in the Yangtze River Delta, their biomedical industry account for around a half of the national total. In the Pearl River Delta, homegrown innovation zones have attracted a series of industrial clusters in advanced materials. The progress made in these two types of zones can also be summarized in the following 3 points. First, new sources. Second, reform-driven innovation. And third, opening up and innovation. These zones have become sources of homegrown innovation. For instance, the first type of AI chip, the very first superconductivity quantum computing prototype, are among the many firsts produced in these zones. They have also given rise to new tracks and new fields of future-oriented industries. For instance, smart robots, satellite navigation, genes, and cells. We see new business forms in the high and new technology zones. They are being commercialized. Second, reform-driven innovation. The key is reform. The 3 homegrown innovation zones have taken original steps to advance innovation. For instance, in Zhongguancun, we are conducting a pilot program on R&D expenditure-based tax reduction and the use first, pay later policy. These policies are highly popular in these homegrown innovation zones. They have also contributed to greater innovation. Finally, on opening up and innovation, these two types of zones set great store by international standards and they have introduced policies up to international standards. They have set up 2,200 overseas R&D institutes and built a solid groundwork for further innovation. The thinking we have is to act on the guidance of the 20th Party Congress. We will keep improving the branding of these zones and enhance their development. We are going to work on three fronts. First, we will build on what we have achieved. It means that in high and new technology zones, we will expand leading technology firms and world-class industrial clusters. We will further cultivate future-oriented industries and promote high-level development. Second, we will continue to deepen reform. I have said that they are the pace setter in reform. Still, we will double down on pilot programs and we will advance high-level growth in our own technologies and foster an enabling ecosystem for high-level innovation. Finally, on coordinated development, we will pool the strength of both high and new technologies and homegrown innovation zones so as to provide a solid underpinning for innovation-driven development and foster strategic pivots for us to integrate into global innovation network. These are the three fronts we will be working on in the future, which in turn will improve our branding of these two types of zones. This will contribute to making China into a strong country in technology. Thank you. One final question. Thank you. The Party Congress have made plans for improving the innovation system. What are your plans? Thank you for your question. The innovation system and its effectiveness, its efficacy is sound. At the same time, we must not be complacent. We need to make further improvements. We have made breakthroughs in the past, and now we are making advancement in every aspect. We have put it at the core of our national development. The strength of a nation is contingent upon its ability to innovate. We always talk about ability and outcomes. And the ability will be the basis for the outcomes. We need to rely on the strength we have. That is why we will focus on building up our strength and pushing for the outcomes within the realm of our ability. At this stage, when we are moving toward innovation-driven development, our ability must be advanced as a system, not at one point or at multiple points. Rather, we need a better system. How can we improve? our ability to innovate and make it more science-based. The key is reform. We have been improving our innovation ability through reform in order to promote innovation-driven development. Over the years, we have been committed to these 2 points. First, we promote innovation through reform, and second, we promote development through innovation. These are the 2 wheels we are rolling on. We need to establish an innovation system with Chinese characteristics. First, we will remain guided by our national strategies and make plans for R&D. Technology innovation will be geared toward 4 objectives at technology frontier, in significant sectors in the economy, in meeting major needs of the country, and in protecting people's life and health. These are the 4 main objectives. We need to work with relevant departments and pool our strength, including on reducing burden, giving people a sense of ownership, and supporting them to be patient in innovation, even though progress have yet to be made. We will also need to introduce policy measures to identify problems and solve them more effectively. Second, we will remain driven by missions. The way we are trying to build a technology-driven development and innovation-driven development. What we need is technological prowess. That is why we need policies, law, and other relevant regulations that together form an enabling ecosystem for innovation so that we can reach our goals through improved technological capacity. Third, on fostering an ecosystem. Government itself is not an entity of innovation. The entities are universities, companies, and research institutes, all those that have been dedicated to innovation and are ambitious to make breakthroughs in technological development. But how can we incentivize these relevant factors and help them innovate? What we in the government should do is to foster an enabling ecosystem by introducing relevant laws and regulations, etc. We need to further improve the system of innovation. Fourth, we also need to coordinate region-based and cross-regional innovation. The main challenge we have is an imbalance in development, in regional development. Despite their differences, they have the same aspiration for innovation, for development in technologies, etc. That's why we need to intervene and make plans for their development. How can we pool the resources and enable these factors to play their due role in national development so that they can help the country realize its development goal and at the same time realize their individual goals. We also need to further strengthen commercialization and application so that at every stage, innovation can be promoted in order to bolster the development of an innovation-driven country, a country that is strong in innovation. We need different resources, platforms, funds, professionals, policies. We also need to coordinate all these factors and ensure that all these resources are used to serve the country's overall strategy. The goal we've been trying to reach is to foster innovation-driven development and build China into a country strong in technology. Going forward, we need to work on the following fronts. We will break our overall goal into different separate goals. Like I said in my opening remarks, we need to ensure that 1 + 1 + 1 is more than 3. This is how we amplify the role of each goal so that we can have a better outcome. We need to further incentivize and motivate R&D personnel, encourage them to reach for their individual objectives, and reward them with social recognition. Because ultimately, technological innovation boils down to individual ingenuity. We will continue to act on the guidance of the 20th Party Congress. In particular, relevant content on innovation and science and technology. We in the ministry will remain guided by these instructions so that technology will play an irreplaceable role in national development. I've been giving you this press conference for many times over the past few years. I hope that friends from the press will support and continue your keen interest in technology so that the know-how, the professionals in technology, and how technology enable the development of other sectors. We hope that you can have a deeper understanding in this aspect. I believe that you can do this. Let's work together. Thank you. Thank you, Minister Wang, and all our guest speakers today. Thank you, all friends from the press. This is the end of today's press conference.